Hi everybody, and thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by Saveen Reddy from the AX 2012 R&D team. Saveen, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
Why don't you start out by telling the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do and your role on the team.
Okay, so I run the business intelligence team. That includes maybe 3 program managers that define all the features for AX 2012's business intelligence, which includes analytics and reporting.
So BI is this kind of really general term that can mean almost anything to anybody. In the context of an ERP application, how do you think about business intelligence? What does that encompass? What will a user of AX 2012 see in terms of the functionality we're delivering in the product from a business intelligence perspective?
So to frame that answer, I think the thing that I always communicate is that it's about compelling experiences around business data. So that's the framework in which I'd answer this question. For an end user, that means the content is compelling. It's interactive, it's rich. From a technical perspective, it's about enabling developers to build those rich experiences.
So that's interesting because we're really, there's a number of different audiences here that we've had to kind of play to or think about or work with as we've developed the product and the capabilities of BI. Maybe let's break it down a little bit and talk first about the developer audience. Obviously, with thousands and thousands of developers working on previous versions of AX 2012, pretty major platform shift. Can you talk about the impact of that and what we've done for developers around BI in the new product?
So those developers that are already familiar with previous versions of AX are familiar with the old reporting platform. We've moved that completely forward, and there's been a lot of fear maybe about the cost and the complexity of the transition. So our work in AX 2012 has been to take familiar AX concepts around modeling and make sure the new platform supports those completely. So it'll be a highly productive environment for them in ways that never were possible before.
And what does that mean in terms of, will they have to learn new tools? Is there a lot of new training with this new platform? There's always some trepidation, I think, when you hear, oh gosh, we've got to transition to something new. What is the impact that you see for our customers? What are you already seeing with our TAP customers in terms of how they're adapting from a development perspective on the new platform?
So there are some new tools and techniques they'll have to learn, right? So for example, we've made a transition to Visual Studio as the primary development platform and to SQL Server Reporting Services as the fundamental reporting platform. So let's say 50% of what they're going to do in the future is new, and 50% leverages all the previous expertise.
So for the 50% that's new, then what are we doing to help folks kind of learn or get ready or to get trained to take advantage of some of the new capabilities that might not be familiar with in the new version of the product? Okay,
so I think there are 3 things we're doing. First of all, inside the product itself, there's something that will help transition what you've done before to the future. Second, not just normal upgrade. The second thing is that there are a variety of formal training, both materials and courses they can take. Third is you can see informally on our BI blog and our YouTube channel, we've already been engaging, let's say, 50, 60 videos to help teach them the new techniques. So those are the 3 options you have.
I think that's going to be real helpful in just kind of previewing some of this. I think it's easy to consume and it's kind of bite-sized, but it does get to the point of how you kind of make this transition for the new product. Let me turn your attention to people who are not familiar with the product, folks who are going to be encountering AX 2012 for the first time. And certainly with BI being everywhere and ubiquitous and really a part of our lives as consumers and outside of a business application, people who are thinking about making a decision to buy or purchase AX 2012 are certainly going to be looking at business intelligence and reporting as a decision point for them versus other products or services or platforms that are out there. What are you most proud of in terms of the new capabilities, new functionality in the product that someone who is looking at AX 2012 might be interested in or might be attracted to?
So going back to my theme about compelling experiences, first, it is far, far easier in this release to create rich experiences. Dashboards are a perfect example, right? And I think everyone will understand that. The second involves being able to use familiar tools to both read and modify data, and that involves our integration with Office, specifically Excel. You can take data in, modify it in Excel, and push it back. That's a feature we never had before in AX. And finally, we've made it very easy to analyze those large volumes of data with things like the cubes, right, and seeing trends in KPIs. So those are 3 things I think someone who's not familiar with the previous version of AX will get out of the product. Those are the real value adds.
Right, and I mean, everyone has Office. Everyone knows how to use Excel. And I know from working with your team, you guys are really focused on how to make these experiences pretty seamless so that you don't really need a business decision maker, someone who's more business oriented, to know how to build a cube, to know how to develop the data and do the data connections. You want them to do the analysis and have that really at the touch of a button.
Correct. It's become far simpler to do that level of analysis in AX.
Yeah. So as we've gone through the technology adapter program, the kind of the beta program, you've had a chance to work with a lot of our early adopter customers and customers that are on the product who have been testing it and given the feedback. What has been the feedback? What have you heard from them? What have they kind of said to you? This is working great. We'd like to see you do more here. What are they getting out of the product thus far?
I think the feedback that I get, and to focus on reporting for a second, first they thank us for making this shift. This is a shift they've been asking for quite some time. So they're happy we've made it. They feel like we finally listened to them. So I'm very happy about that. And the second thing is that they're going through some growing pains because SQL Server reporting services is not familiar to them. And that's a big part of our training efforts to make sure they're feeling very comfortable because they'll have to adopt this technology and understand how it relates to AX. And that's new for them.
Yeah. And we've gone to conferences and Convergence, and you've had a chance to kind of get ready for the GA. What are you most excited? What feature in the product are you most excited for people to try out as the product goes live this fall?
I think the feature that I like the most are we have a very optimized ability to create simple reports. In fact, if you compare the normal SQL Server reporting tooling and its ability to create reports, we are probably 10 times faster. You don't have to know much at all to create very simple reports, even with things like grouping and totaling. And I think we're probably the best of breed, actually, in those kind of reports.
That's great. Well, thanks a lot for being with us today and sharing some of your insights on reporting and BI in AX 2012. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.